Hello, hi, good morning. Welcome to the channel. Well, it's good morning for me. I don't know if it's morning for you when you're watching this. Welcome in. I'm Shauna. Today, we're going to be talking about the most expensive makeup that I own. So, on my face today, I'm going to be applying the most expensive product in each category. So, regardless of the actual price, if my most expensive thing in that category is $12, that is what I will be. This video is really not intended to be a flex at all. It's mostly just a chance to put together a face of makeup that I wouldn't ordinarily wear or pair together. But also, it's an opportunity to talk about my makeup habits, preferences, buying choices, all of that kind of thing. So I'm going to put my hair back. At least get it out of my face. It is a beautiful fall morning outside. I had a big pimple right here. You can still see it. It was a nightmare last week. So we're going to start. The first category is primer. And I currently only have two primers. These two, and this one from Mascara is the more expensive of the two. I think I like the Marshmallow Primer just a little bit better. But, ooh, there she is. My skin has been drying out. And the moisturizer I bought, it's the CeraVe like day cream with retinol and like SPF 30. It is so drying. It's not hydrating enough. I think I'm going to the store today. Hopefully, I should be anyways. And I'm going to be getting something else because it is just, it ain't fun. I need something that's way more hydrating. And like my skin actually feels dry to the touch. Like it's screaming for moisture. As far as, primers go or most expensive things go, this primer is $30 USD. So it's not quite like the high-end price, but definitely not a drugstore. It is mid-range. I do like it, and like it sinks in really fast. And I just feel like I do have, like my skin feels a little bit more hydrating, or more hydrated. The foundation for today is Merit. I have two shades. I have Bisque and Cream. This one is Cream. This one is Bisque. I guess I'll do a little swatcheroo. Lighter one is Cream. Darker one is Bisque. This is the most expensive foundation by a long shot. I do know that they've like reformulated the product. Well, not reformulated. They've added more product to the stick without raising the price, which is nice. But these sticks are about $50, and they are the most expensive thing that I own by a long shot, actually. I did wear this last week for the first time in a while. I mean, a while as in like I haven't worn this in almost a year, and I forgot just how nice this formula is. The colors aren't quite right. And if I was looking to, like wear this particular foundation every day, I would invest in, getting a different or more correct shade. I do like this formula, but it's not an everyday foundation for me, simply because it's a little bit more hydrating than what my typical preference would be. So just to talk about foundation preferences a little bit, as far as all the categories go, foundation is the one that is the most mixed, because I don't think that the drugstore puts out bad formulas. What I think the drugstore still struggles with to this day is shade ranges. And so often, I think a lot of people, myself included, go to Sephora or, a higher end brand in order to get a shade range or a shade that really matches them. I mean, it is nice that the drugstore is doing better, but we can't necessarily clap for doing the bare minimum, because even when you go in person to a drugstore, there's rarely ever a full shade range available. Like I was at the drugstore recently to get a new foundation, and the line, I knew, like I was fully aware that there was more than 10 shades in the line, but there is only 10 shades available. So we're not even putting out a full shade range. Now, for concealer, the most expensive one I have is Fenty Beauty. And I think what I've said about foundation also applies for concealer. I do think, though, that like a concealer match is not the same as a foundation match. Like if your concealer is a little bit off, like if it's a little too cool or a little too warm, then it doesn't matter as much as a foundation. So I've historically gone for drugstore concealers over high-end concealers. But my favorites, as I was thinking about recently, my favorites have been the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer, whatever that one is called, you know it. I also like the finish of the Kosas concealer, but that thing does not set. So like not a fan. Anyway, so I am using two today. So the Fenty concealer is a pretty good shade match. I just like to do a little bit in the inner corner. This is just like a little bit too light and a little bit too matte to wear all over my eye. I have tried since finishing the Kosas concealer. Yeah, it's just, I don't like it alone. So we're going to be mixing these two. This has been the combo lately, but also these are the only concealers that I have. Okay, so I'm going to actually put a little bit of concealer on my face as well, but this might be too too light, sorry. So I think a really interesting question for you guys is, does the drugstore or does Sephora or, higher end brands, do they have a more cosmetically elegant formula? Or do you feel like the drugstore does it just as well as higher end brands? Granted, I think that the higher end brands, have the shade range that the drugstore doesn't. Maybe not like hard and fast as a rule, but if we were going to do one, I would probably say that. I really like this concealer a lot, like the L'Oreal concealer. I really do. I tend to, really lean into full coverage stuff. That's just like my preference. But for my under eyes, I have two. I recently got this one because this one is done or almost done. I shattered it. She needs to be repressed. But until then, we will use what we have. Hopefully I can repress it later. But I do feel like with all things considered, just like looking at my face and the breakouts and things like that, like it's doing a really good job of coverage. And this is one thing I feel like I still stand by in what I've said about the Merit foundation sticks, is that they are so customizable. I know most people who wear them are going to go for that lighter coverage look. Great. And I think a lot of reviews really speak to that. Just my preference and the way that my skin has just been, I need a fuller coverage, and it also, like, it lives up to that. Like, it does that. So we're going to do a little bit of the same powder all over the face. I was going to use my loose setting powder, the Nude by Nature. However, that foundation, or that powder, sorry, is a little bit dark at the moment. I did self-tan a couple of days ago. It's gone now. But that powder can just cling really weird to dry patches. And then you get like literal patches of makeup on your face. And that's not what I want. And the last time I wore this foundation, which was last week, it was like creating random patches all over my face. So I'm not going to take that chance today. So we're just using this CoverGirl powder. Both of the Merit foundations are a little bit dark. So this powder is a little bit light, so I feel like it works well. As far as powders go, I almost never buy high-end powders because, historically I've gone through them so fast. I have definitely slowed down my use of pressed powders. I used to go through one between the ages of like 17 and 22, maybe 23. I went through one every 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks, depending on how much powder was in there. I'm now like one every 3 to 6 months kind of thing 5 months, something like that. So I've definitely slowed down. In real life, it's looking a little bit better than on camera. Like, it's not looking as dry. It actually looks super skin-like in real life, which I love. Yeah, it looks really great in real life. I wish I could. That's the thing about video. Sometimes I wish it could capture exactly how it appears in real life. There also really isn't a stark difference between my neck and my foundation in real life. Okay, I'm gonna just leave that powder out because I just made a mess with it. It like some of it like fell out. Hold on, I'll be back. Oh God, it's on the floor. It is on the floor. We're just taking this as an opportunity for an intermission. I'm still drinking this. I got a new one yesterday, 2 days ago. And there was 3 left in the fridge at the grocery store. And they were already bringing out the like peppermint mocha. I didn't know if this brand did one for Christmas, like the holiday season. Oh, it's lactose free. Oh, look at that. I thought it had cream. Oh, thank God. Okay, while we're having an intermission, question for you all. I recently bought these 2, the Fresh Wear, and I also have the concealers I just wore. Now, I got these both because I'm about to finish a foundation and also press powder. These are on sale for $14.99 down from like, depending on where you get it, like $20 or $24. And I had a gift card for shoppers. So I got these both for free, but also at a great price. Would you want to hear my thoughts on this line? Yes or no? If not, we're cool. If yes, we're also cool. Oh, I gotta take a sip of that coffee. Have I ever been a more basic white girl? Probably yes, talking about Taylor Swift. Okay, we're on to bronzer now. And I have just 2 left. The Vesca and then the City Bronzer by Maybelline. They're both actually a little bit dark. The Vesca, especially the Vesca one. The Vesca one is a little bit darker than mine. You know what? Scratch that. They're very similar colors. But the undertones are a little bit different. We're going to use the Vesca one because it's the more expensive of the 2. And with bronzer, I almost exclusively buy drugstore bronzer. The reason why I bought the Vesca bronzer is because the shade range was really good. And Vesca is a Canadian brand. The irony about Vesca was that they stopped shipping to Canada for a really long time. They have, since closed. Or they are closing, which is sad. Because everything I've tried from them has been really good. Like, it's all been, every product has really stood up, I feel like. But with bronzer, for me, like, bronzer is another one of those things where it's just, like, super easy to formulate. The reason why I feel like people would go to high-end would be, again, for the shade range, not because the formula is better. I do think that, like, maybe with foundations, you get more unique foundation styles and types at the drugstore. Sorry, at Sephora higher-end brands. High-end brands also tend to be more with it in terms of, like, trends and, like, defining trends and things like that. Whereas drugstore brands, that typically isn't the case. So, for the brows, my most expensive brow product, the Merit Brow Gel, I have really liked this product, but I haven't used it nearly a year. I don't think it's been a full year, but it's been a long time. What I do think, and what is surprising to me, I was talking to a friend about Glossier, and I think that the Boy Brow is better than all the other brow gels that I've tried. That was surprising because I expected a brow gel to be something super easy to formulate, something that should be discoverable, and, I should be able to find comparable products at the drugstore. But everything I've tried, even the NYX Thick It Stick It Brow Gel, not as good as the Boy Brow. And I would pay the extra money for the Boy Brow. So whenever I finish my brow products, I will get the boy brow. I actually thought I had finished this because I don't think I would have bought the NYX Thick It Stick It if I hadn't finished this. I don't even remember having this in my collection. Like, I genuinely thought I had panned it. So when I saw it sitting in my drawer, I was a little surprised. In this category overall, the fact that I would go for the boy brow just really shocks me because I think I can be a little bit cheap when it comes to things. Like, I don't want to pay more money if I don't have to. You know, we all get sucked into brands sometimes, or like the spell of a brand. And then, you know, there could also be reasons why we want to shop a particular brand. Like, I wanted to try Persona. And, you know, it's not always about the price. Of course, price factors into it. But I wanted to try Persona because I feel like I really enjoy the aesthetic of the brand. And they seem to be doing some cool stuff over there. There's a lot that I've wanted to try from Persona. And so I think maybe what the distinction is for me is that if I'm looking for a product to be utilitarian, right? Like, I'm looking for a brow gel, I'm looking for a primer, or I'm looking for a foundation, I'm, of course, want like the best I can afford, but also something that I can repurchase over and over again. Like, wouldn't be out of my budget to repurchase it if it became a staple, but I also want it to work. And I don't really care what brand it is if it works. Not that I want to buy from problematic brands, but like, it, you know, it being from a favorite or a cult brand doesn't really matter. But that feels different than being enticed to try a brand. Like, I might not have a product in mind. I just want to try what this brand has to offer. And those feel like two different shopping habits. I think I tend to do that more with maybe like eyeshadow palettes and lipsticks. And when I was looking to buy a new foundation, I was basically like, what haven't I tried on the market? You know, or like, what do I think I would like? Not necessarily like, oh, give me the newest thing, or give me the cheapest thing, or give me the... Depending on the category, I do tend to go for cheaper first if it's there, like looking at those options first. And then if there's something in that category, I'll try it. And then move on to something higher end. But also I'm just rambling. I really like the way that this looks so far. My skin is looking awesome. My eyebrows are looking juicy, the way I like them. For blush, I have two products that are of similar price. The Patrick Ta blush. I have Shiso LA, but I also have the other color. What are you called? I'm pretty sure it's She's Different. I don't have it here because I was thinking I was going to wear this color, but I might not. And then I also have the Pat McGrath in Flirtatious. The blush duo from Patrick Ta is $45. This one is $51. This one is the more expensive of the two, so I will wear that. The reason why I was highlighting the Patrick Ta blush is because it's like the most similarly priced. All the other blushes I own, most of them are drugstore. I have two of these, and then I also have two of the Nude Sticks blushes, and then the rest is drugstore. So I was going to feature maybe Patrick Ta because this is just like kind of a boring blush. But that, I guess, means in this case, I can wear whatever I want on the eyes. So this is, I don't know, to me, like such a great everyday blush color. There we go. I think as well, blushes are not a hard to formulate thing. One of the things I do think as well about blushes, as I was talking about with foundations, there's more interesting blushes at higher end price points. There's more interesting formulas and shades and textures and tones that the drugstore just doesn't have and doesn't really do. They're often late to the party on trends and formulas, and I'm just calling it Sephora because, we don't have Ulta in Canada, but I mean like higher end brands. Sephora brands they're already like doing fun, interesting things. And so like they do it like a year, 2 years, 3 years before the drugstore even gets it. My most expensive lipsticks. Without a doubt, the most expensive is my Pat McGrath. It's red. It's beautiful. I think I want to feature this. Also, I have Victoria Beckham. I have the shade. Okay, so the Pat McGrath shade I just showed you is Obsessed shade 211. And then the Victoria Beckham lipstick is in the shade Pout. And then Bite Beauty. I have Radicchio here, but I have other shades as well. I love this shade so much. Now, these two are nearly identical in price. This guy is $51, Pat McGrath, and then this guy is $52. I was actually expecting the Pat McGrath to be more expensive. This shade here is kind of peachy. It is peachy pink. And the palette I'm going to use, I don't really feel like goes with that super well. And been planning this look in my head with Pat McGrath since I thought about this video. So you can like forgive me for using the one that's $1 less, okay? I mean, we're already in the $50 price range. Like, does it matter if it's 51 or 52? Listen, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna say it. These are really nice lipsticks, both of them. Truly, great. They're not worth the money. They're just not. They don't do a whole lot of things that other lipsticks do. Yeah, you have luxurious packaging. You know, you're buying from a cool brand. But I don't think that this is like inherently worth an extra $11, $12, like from even like these two. I would say I prefer the Bite formula, which is at least $10 less. So also, if you're going to buy an expensive shade, like it shouldn't be this like random red. I'm not going to finish this. So the most expensive eyeshadow palettes I have, if you know my palette collection, I just did swatches. Natasha Denona. I have featured this on the channel before. Like I've done looks on camera with this shade, with this palette. Don't think I've done anything with glam. So we're gonna do glam, but we're gonna do like a super easy look so we can let the lipstick shine. I was a little wary about doing this particular look only because this is not interesting. Like people, if they want to come for a tutorial or like how to use the palette or looking for inspiration, this isn't going to be the place. But also I don't think anybody's coming here for that. So like we're just going to be cool with it. So I'm going to go in with this shade all over the lid. I don't know what it is, but I have all my mattes lined up here. It's the second to lightest. Now let's talk about eyeshadow formulas, okay? Because I just did swatching all of my palettes. The funny thing about it is you could tell by touching them which ones, or at least I could suspect which ones were more expensive than others, because some of them felt like physically really nice, creamy matte. Other ones didn't feel that way. Like the ColourPop shadows don't feel great, like the mattes, but they swatch just as nice as higher end brands. So they don't feel good, but they work almost just as well. And I think when it comes to higher end brands, you know, people try to say that like you pay for what you get. You know, Natasha Denona has a better formula, or it's more cosmetically elegant. You know, you're paying for that. I think to some extent that is true. And like, you know, you can get maybe a better blend, or you can get a better color payoff or something like that, or you can get more interesting colors or formulas. But I don't know that like this is worth $90. I love this palette wholeheartedly. I would buy it again if I didn't have it, but I would, get it on a discount. I wouldn't, like, I would wait for a sale, for a Sephora sale or Natasha Denona brand sale. I wouldn't buy it outright for $90. Maybe this is just like me and just being ignorant or not educated enough. I don't know, but I didn't necessarily feel like this formula was head and shoulders above all of the other formulas out there. The one palette in that video though that I feel like was the standout that like everybody was really appreciating was the NARS palette. If you've seen the video, I only have one NARS palette. I forget what it's called. It's in the red packaging. The shimmers are so standout. Like, they are truly something special. Like, that is a palette that is head and shoulders above the rest. Or, it's worth more money, in my opinion, than an ABH palette. Okay, so my camera died. I do think I should have gone in with this one instead. So I'm going to go in with this color here. Over top. Anyways, as I was saying, that is truly a special formula. Like, it really is. And you could totally see it in the video. It's worth the money. Like, it is. And when I look at, let's talk about ABH for a second. They, their traditional palettes, like the formula of Modern Renaissance, those palettes, Soft Glam, that is not the same. Like, when I compare the Climax palette is way more special. The mattes are way more buttery, easier to blend. The shimmers are out of this world. So I think that some formulas can be worth it, but overall, I don't necessarily think that like that higher end brands or even like luxury brands just like inherently have a better formula. Okay, I'm going to put on my mascara and then I'm going to come back. We back. We have mascara on. Now, I know I haven't done all the steps. Mascara. I'm currently using two. Lash Sensational and Lash Blast. So similar. Like, even though the brushes aren't that, the exact same, similar. The effect is similar. I got the Lash Blast volume because I thought that this one was more lengthening and I wanted a voluminous one. They don't do much different. I will not buy high-end mascara. A couple months ago, I was convinced I was going to buy the Merit mascara. I can't do it, okay? There's something in me. I can't buy a high-end mascara. Drugstore does like 80% of the way, okay? It's great. And listen, if you're like struggling with your lashes, I feel like you're better off, instead of spending the $35 on a high-end mascara, get yourself, like, go to e.l.f. or The Ordinary, get their eyelash serum. They're both $20 or less. It's less than a mascara. You can use them for 3 to 6 months. See what happens. I mean, I've used the e.l.f. one. I feel like it's done a good job. I haven't repurchased it. Waiting for a sale, hopefully. But they work. And if you use them consistently, at least that's kind of been my experience. So I feel like you're better off with that than buying a $35 mascara. I am all the way. I am team drugstore mascara. As for eyeliner, my Marc Jacobs eyeliner, she's done, guys. It's a sad day because this is my favorite waterline eyeliner. And they don't make it anymore. This is worth the money. This really is. And I've talked about this L'Oreal one. It is great, but it's not the same color. I want a pink one. And L'Oreal does not make a pink one. So if you know a brand that has a pink eyeliner, any brand, high-end drugstore, let me know in the comments. Please help a girl out because I no longer have the pink and I am sad about it. Highlight. I was surprised that double gleam is $48. The fact that highlight is so expensive does not make sense to me. I know I got this on sale, but regular price, $48. Any highlight being $50, like the Becca highlighters are $50. And I currently have a mini, so that's like $30. I think that is more accurate in terms of like what I think these things should be worth. The fact that they're $50 is just shocking. Like actually, it's literally powder. Why are we charging that much for it? I don't think that this particular highlight is worth the money. I don't think this particular highlight is all that good. I love Opal. Like I love the Becca formula, and I've talked about it that I think it's an older formula that like really stands up. Or at least like for my preferences anyways, I think it's still really good. So in terms of most expensive gloss, Fenty, I have 2 full size of these, this one and another one. I think that they're great. They're not the best formula out there. I think the Tower 28 glosses hit harder than these. I like the Tower 28 formula better. I think that the Maybelline lifter glosses, they're the creamy instead of like sparkly, shiny, or clear gloss. The Tower 28 glosses are more sheer. Maybe the Maybelline glosses are more opaque. They're just like, they are intending to do different things. Like I don't think that you would go pick up this gloss or Tower 28 gloss if you want an opaque pink gloss. You know, like I think that they're just a little bit different. So maybe I would repurchase this down the line, but I have other formulas that I like more. And I think just like from now on, I'd probably keep it to like Tower 28 and Maybelline. Like maybe I would try other things as they come out, or if there's a new formula that I'm thinking, oh, I would like to try that. But if I'm talking about like a makeup bag staple, I would probably stick to those 2. So we're going to put on the red lip, and I wanted to keep the eyes more subtle so I could pop the lip. And I really love doing that. And I think just when it comes to Natasha Denona palette in general, we see all of these vampy looks, like these really big blown out looks. And like this, like you can use your palette for everyday basic looks, you know, like mine. It doesn't make it not worth the money. It just makes it versatile, and like you can use a palette however you want. So I'm gonna do a little lip liner. This is the Essence lip liner. What color are you? I'm 14, shade 14. I'm pretty bad at lip liner, so we'll see. I'm just shaking my head at myself, honestly. What you all came here for, or what I came here for. I feel like I just need to rest my case here, you know? It's just, I'm gonna go do my hair. I feel like I have to come back, you know, with a look. And yeah, I'm gonna do my hair and I'll be back. Can you tell that I'm feeling this look? This was so much fun, and I really liked creating this kind of simple look with you today. This like subtle eye, bold lip has been one of my favorites over the past couple of months. The thumbnails that I like the best have been kind of this nature. The last thing actually is setting spray. I have 2. I have a matte one by NYX. I have MAC Fix Plus. I shit on MAC Fix Plus for a long time. I'm like, if you like this, you're a sheep. Like that was my thought several years ago. I'm talking like when people were talking about it all the time, like when it was just MAC Fix Plus everything. I'm like, you're basically putting water on your face and like you think it's doing something. No, this is not water. Everybody who ever said anything good about MAC Fix Plus, they are freaking right. I'm sorry, but like they are. I hate to admit it to myself that all these people were right this whole time. I'm eating my words. It's great. The only thing you need to be careful of, if you've never used this, you can over apply this like crazy, and you need to wait until your mascara is like actually like there's no tackiness, no dryness at all, because what I have found is when I've sprayed it, shortly after putting on my mascara, it like will get on my, like it'll transfer. You need a light hand, like a couple of spritz, or like your makeup gets like literally tacky and it doesn't dry down and it's nasty. I've been there. So we're just gonna do a couple. As I have said before in the past, nothing is more beauty guru than a cloud of setting mist. And I wish I could do a cloud with this to, you know, have my beauty guru moment. But I really love this. And I would repurchase this. So I have to, even though I'm an oily skin girl, I love this. That's everything for me today. This was, as I've said, so much fun. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts in the comments. If you have any recommendations for pink eyeliners, leave them down below too. What is your favorite high-end makeup product that you own? If you could just pick one, what would it be? Okay. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me today. And I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.